Stand down, soldier. You are a long way from home.
Somewhere out there, in the dark corners of space, a secret army exists. It is not made of robots. It is not made of the strongest warriors from 100 planets. It is made of women. Alien women. And they have one strange rule that nobody can explain. They secretly recruit human men. Nobody talks about it. Nobody writes about it. But it happened to one ordinary man from Earth, and his story is about to shock you. This is not a story about war. This is a story about a mistake. A simple clerical error that pulled a normal man out of his normal life and dropped him into the middle of the deadliest, most secretive combat unit in the galaxy. He did not choose this. He did not train for this. One moment, he was walking through a space station looking for a job. The next moment, he was surrounded. By the end of this video, you will learn 3 things nobody else will tell you. First, why this unit only recruits human men, and no one else in the galaxy qualifies. Second, what secret power hides inside human beings that even humans do not know about. And third, the shocking truth about who is really in control of this unit, and why they have kept it hidden for so long. If you love stories where an ordinary human becomes something extraordinary, stay with me. Let me show you exactly how this happened. Mark Reeves was not a soldier. He was not a hero. He was just a man trying to find work on a space station far from Earth. The station was called Kestrel Point. It was a busy place, full of traders, workers, and travelers from many different worlds. Mark had come there after losing his job back home. He needed money. He needed a fresh start. He did not know that his life was about to change forever. It was a normal morning when everything went wrong. Mark walked into a large building near the center of the station. He thought it was a job office. A sign outside said Recruitment Center, and that was enough for him. He walked through the door, holding his old paper resume in his hand, hoping for any kind of work. Cleaning, loading cargo, fixing machines. He did not care. He just needed a job. But this was not a normal job office. This was a secret military building. It belonged to a group called the HFY Sci. Very few people in the galaxy even knew this name. The HFY Sci was an elite combat unit made entirely of alien women. They were fierce fighters. They were fast, smart, and deadly in battle. And for reasons nobody understood, this unit only wanted human men to join their ranks. Mark had no idea about any of this. He walked past a scanner near the door. The scanner read his body, his blood, and something deep inside his cells. A soft beep sounded. A light turned green. Somewhere inside the building, an alarm quietly went off. It was not an alarm of danger. It was an alarm of excitement. A tall alien woman appeared from a side hallway. Her skin had a soft blue-gray color. Her eyes glowed a gentle amber, like small lanterns. She looked at Mark with sharp interest. She did not look angry. She looked surprised, and maybe a little hopeful. "You passed the scan," she said. Her voice was calm but firm. Mark blinked. "Scan? I just want a job. Is this the work office?" The woman studied him closely. "This is not what you think it is. But you are exactly what we have been looking for." Mark felt his stomach tighten. Something was wrong. He turned to leave, but 2 more women stepped into the hallway behind him, blocking his path. They were tall, strong, and wore dark combat armor. Their faces were calm, not threatening, but there was no doubt they were warriors. Mark had never seen anyone like them before. "Please," the first woman said. "You are not in danger, but you cannot leave yet. Not until you understand what just happened." Mark's heart pounded. He looked around the room. It was filled with strange machines, glowing screens, and images of stars and planets he did not recognize. This was clearly not a normal job center. He had walked into something much bigger than he ever imagined. The woman introduced herself as Commander Usa. She explained, slowly and carefully, that the building was a hidden recruitment site for the HFY Sci. She said her unit protected important trade routes and defended weaker planets from raiders. But she said nothing yet about why they needed him. Mark asked the only question that mattered. "Why me? I'm not a soldier. I've never fought in my life." Commander Usa gave a small, mysterious smile. "That does not matter. What matters is what is inside you. Something the rest of the galaxy does not have." Mark did not understand. He was just an ordinary man. He had no special skills, no military training, no powers. He was nothing special back on Earth, and he doubted he was special anywhere else. But the machines did not lie. His scan results were glowing on a screen nearby, marked with a strange golden symbol. The other women in the room kept glancing at it, whispering quietly among themselves. Mark felt trapped. He wanted answers. But more than that, he wanted to leave. He took a step back toward the door. Commander Usa raised her hand gently. "Wait," she said. "Before you decide anything, let us show you something. Something that will change how you see yourself." Mark hesitated. Every instinct told him to run. But curiosity, and maybe a little fear, kept his feet planted on the floor. He had walked into this building looking for a simple job. Instead, he had found a secret. And once a secret this big finds you, there is no simple way back to the life you knew before. Commander Usa led Mark through a long metal hallway. The walls glowed with a soft blue light. Mark walked slowly, his mind racing with questions. Every few steps, more alien women appeared, watching him with quiet curiosity. Some whispered to each other. Some simply stared. Mark had never felt so out of place in his life. They entered a large round room. In the center stood a glowing circular table. Above it floated a soft, shimmering map of stars. Mark had never seen technology like this before. It looked like something from a science fiction movie, except it was real, and he was standing right in the middle of it. "Sit," Commander Usa said gently. Mark sat down slowly, his eyes never leaving the glowing map. Commander Usa touched the table, and the stars shifted, forming a new pattern. A single planet appeared, glowing green and blue. It looked like Earth. "This is your homeworld," she said. "Earth. Small. Simple. Overlooked by most of the galaxy." Mark frowned. "Overlooked? What do you mean?" Commander Usa's expression grew serious. "Most alien races believe humans are weak, slow, unimportant. They think Earth has nothing to offer the galaxy. That is why almost no one bothers to study your kind closely." Mark felt a strange mix of anger and confusion. "So why does your unit care about humans at all?" Commander Usa leaned forward. "Because we looked closer than anyone else, and what we found changed everything." She touched the table again. A new image appeared. It showed strands of glowing light, twisting and turning like tiny ropes. Mark realized it was some kind of genetic code, like DNA, but shown in a way he had never seen. "This is human genetic structure," Commander Usa explained. "On the surface, it looks ordinary, but deep inside, there is something rare, something almost no other species in the galaxy carries. We call it the ember trait." Mark stared at the glowing strands. "The ember trait. What does it do?" Commander Usa's voice grew quiet, almost reverent. "It allows human body to adapt faster than any other species we have studied. When humans face extreme danger, something inside them changes. Their bodies grow stronger. Their minds grow sharper. Most species break under pressure. Humans grow under pressure." Mark sat in silence, trying to process what he was hearing. He had never thought of himself as special. He had never even thought much about being human at all. It was just who he was. "There's more," Commander Usa continued. "This trait is stronger in human males than in human females, for reasons we still do not fully understand. That is why our recruitment scans specifically search for men like you." Mark's mind spun. "So you're telling me I have some kind of hidden power?" "Not a power you can control yet," Commander Usa said. "A potential. Something buried deep inside you. Our unit exists to find humans like you, awaken that potential, and train it into something powerful." Mark looked down at his own hands, as if expecting them to suddenly glow. They looked completely normal. Just hands. Human hands. It was hard to believe there was something extraordinary hidden inside such an ordinary body. "Why haven't other species done this?" Mark asked. "If humans are so special, why hasn't everyone tried to recruit us?" Commander Usa's face darkened slightly. "Because most species are afraid. They see how quickly humans adapt, and it frightens them. They would rather keep humans small, ignored, and unaware of their own strength. Some believe that if humans ever fully understood the ember trait, they could become the most dangerous force in the galaxy." Mark felt a chill run down his spine. "And your unit isn't afraid of that?" Commander Usa met his eyes steadily. "We believe potential should never be wasted, no matter how dangerous it might seem. That is why the Velmira Ashai exists. We find humans like you before others can exploit you, or worse, destroy you out of fear." Mark sat back, overwhelmed. He had come into this building looking for a simple job cleaning floors or loading cargo. Instead, he had discovered a secret buried inside his own body, a secret that alien species across the galaxy were either hiding from or afraid of. "So what happens now?" Mark asked quietly. Commander Usa stood up. "Now, you make a choice. Walk away, and live the rest of your life never knowing what you could have become. Or stay, and let us show you exactly what is hidden inside you." Mark looked at the glowing map of Earth, small and quiet among a galaxy full of strange and powerful worlds. For the first time, he felt something stir inside him. Not fear, not confusion, something closer to purpose. He took a slow breath. "Show me." Commander Usa nodded, as if she had expected his answer all along. She led Mark deeper into the building, down a long staircase that spiraled below the main floor. The air grew cooler as they descended. Mark's footsteps echoed against the metal steps, each one pulling him further from the life he used to know. At the bottom, a massive door slid open, revealing a huge training chamber. It was unlike anything Mark had ever seen. The room stretched far beyond what seemed possible from the outside. Holographic walls shimmered with shifting battle scenes. Alien women trained in groups, moving with incredible speed and precision. Some sparred with glowing weapons. Others practiced strange forms of hand-to-hand combat that looked almost like dance. Mark stood frozen at the entrance, watching in awe. These women moved like nothing he had ever seen. Vast, sharp, fearless. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. "This is where we train," Commander Usa said. "Every woman here has already awakened her full potential. Now, we must awaken yours." Mark swallowed hard. "How exactly do you do that?" Commander Usa gestured toward a raised platform in the center of the room. A soft golden light glowed from its surface. The ember trait cannot be awakened through simple training. It must be triggered through controlled stress. A safe, guided moment of danger that forces your body to respond. Mark's stomach twisted. Controlled danger. That sounds like a nice way of saying you're going to hurt me. For the first time, Commander Usa's serious expression softened into something close to a smile. "We will protect you. But yes, it will not be comfortable. Growth rarely is." Mark stepped onto the platform, his legs shaking slightly. Around him, several alien women gathered, watching closely. He felt like the center of attention in a room full of warriors who could probably defeat him in seconds without even trying. A soft hum filled the air. The platform began to glow brighter. Suddenly, holographic images surrounded Mark, creating the illusion of a dark, dangerous battlefield. Shapes moved in the shadows. A low growl echoed nearby. Mark's heart pounded as his mind struggled to separate illusion from reality. "This is not real," Commander Usa's voice called out calmly. "But your body does not know that yet." A shadowy holographic creature lunged toward Mark. Every instinct in his body screamed to run. His muscles tensed. His breathing quickened. For a brief moment, he felt something strange rush through his chest, like a spark of fire waking up deep inside him. The creature vanished as quickly as it appeared. The lights dimmed. Mark stumbled backward, breathing heavily, sweat dripping down his forehead. He looked at his hands again. They tingled slightly, as if something inside them had shifted. Commander Usa stepped closer, examining a glowing display near the platform. Her eyes widened slightly. "Remarkable. Your ember trait responded faster than most recruits." Mark felt a strange mix of exhaustion and excitement. "So did it work?" "It has begun," Commander Usa said. "This was only the first spark. True awakening will take time, patience, and many more trials like this one." Over the next several days, Mark trained harder than he ever had in his entire life. Each trial pushed him further, testing his mind and body in ways he never imagined possible. Slowly, he noticed changes. His reflexes grew sharper. His strength increased. His mind felt clearer, more focused, even under pressure. The alien women who once looked at him with curiosity began to look at him with something closer to respect. He was no longer just a strange human who wandered into their recruitment center by accident. He was becoming something more. But even as Mark grew stronger, questions lingered in his mind. Why did this unit truly exist? Was it simply to protect humans from being exploited, as Commander Usa claimed? Or was there something deeper, something hidden even from him? One evening, after a grueling training session, Mark noticed two officers speaking quietly in a corner of the room. Their voices were low, but he caught a few words that sent a chill down his spine. If the council discovers what we are really doing here. Mark's heart skipped. The council. He had never heard that word mentioned before. Whatever it meant, it was clear that Commander Us's unit was hiding something far bigger than he had been told. That night, Mark could not sleep. The words he overheard echoed in his mind. If the council discovers what we are really doing here. What did that mean? Was the Velmira Ashai truly protecting humans? Or was there something else going on beneath the surface? The next morning, Mark decided to ask Commander Usa directly. He found her in the same round room where she had first shown him the glowing star map. She looked tired, as if she had not slept much either. I need to ask you something, Mark said carefully. Who is the council? Commander Usa's expression tightened. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then she sighed and gestured for him to sit. The council governs most of known space, she explained. They set the rules for how different species interact. They decide who may explore, who may trade, and who may interfere with developing worlds like Earth. Mark leaned forward. And they don't know about this unit. They know the Velmira Ashai exists, Commander Usa said. But they do not know the full truth about why we recruit humans. If they discovered the true extent of the ember trait, and how quickly it can be awakened, they would see humanity as a threat. Mark's chest tightened. A threat. We're barely off our own planet. Commander Usa nodded slowly. That is precisely why they underestimate you. But the Council has learned that human potential, once unlocked, is unpredictable and powerful. Some among them believe humanity should be contained before it grows too strong. Others believe humanity should be quietly guided, so it can defend itself when the time comes. Mark's mind raced. And which one are you? Commander Usa met his eyes directly. I believe every species deserves the chance to protect itself. That is why I built this unit. Not to control humans, not to use them as weapons, but to prepare them, quietly, before the galaxy forces its hand. Mark sat back, absorbing everything. It was a lot to take inches. He had gone from job seeker to secret recruit to now understanding he was part of something far bigger than himself. Quiet effort to protect an entire species from forces it did not even know existed. So that's why it's kept secret, Mark said slowly. If the Council found out, they might shut you down. Or worse. Yes, Commander Usa said. That is why so few know about us. That is why we work quietly, one recruit at a time. It is slow. It is careful. But it is necessary. Over the following weeks, Mark's training intensified. He began joining small missions alongside experienced Velmira Ashai warriors, helping protect trade routes from raiders and pirates who preyed on weaker planets. Each mission tested him further, and each time, he grew a little stronger, a little sharper, a little more confident. He began to understand what Commander Usa meant about human potential. He was not the strongest fighter in the unit. He was not the fastest or the most skilled. But he adapted quickly. He learned from mistakes almost instantly. Where other species might take months to master a new skill, Mark often grasped it within days. The other warriors noticed too. What started as curious glances slowly turned into genuine camaraderie. They began teaching him more advanced techniques, sharing stories of their homeworlds, and treating him less like an experiment and more like a fellow warrior. But even as Mark found his place among them, a nagging worry remained in the back of his mind. If the Council ever discovered the true scale of what Commander Ussa was building, not just one recruit, but potentially many humans like him, what would happen? Would they see it as a threat that must be destroyed? Mark realized he was no longer just fighting for himself. He was part of something bigger, something that could shape the future of his entire species. And soon, he would learn just how close that future was to being decided. Weeks turned into months. Mark had changed more than he ever thought possible. He was stronger, faster, and sharper than the man who once wandered into a strange building looking for a simple job. But nothing could have prepared him for what happened next. One day, an urgent alarm rang through the entire base. Commander Ussa gathered her warriors quickly, her face tense with worry. "The Council has sent an inspection team," she announced. "They suspect there is more happening here than we have reported. We do not have much time." Mark's heart raced. This was the moment he had been dreading. If the Council discovered the true extent of human potential, everything Commander Ussa had built, everything Mark had worked so hard for, could be destroyed in an instant. The inspection team arrived within hours. They were tall, cold-eyed officials who moved through the base with sharp, calculating eyes. Mark tried to stay calm, blending in among the other warriors, but he could feel their gaze linger on him longer than the others. One official, a stern woman named Overseer Thal, stepped directly in front of Mark. "You," she said coldly. "You are human." Mark straightened his back. "Yes." Overseer Thal studied him closely, her eyes narrowing. "Show me your combat skill." Commander Ussa stepped forward quickly. "That is not necessary. He is simply a support recruit." But Overseer Thal raised a hand, silencing her. "I decide what is necessary." Mark understood the danger immediately. If he showed too much skill, it could confirm the Council's fears about human potential. If he showed too little, it might expose Commander Ussa's careful work as a failure. Or worse, a cover-up. Mark took a deep breath. He remembered everything Commander Ussa had taught him, not just about combat, but about control, about patience. He stepped forward and performed a simple, controlled combat sequence, skilled enough to seem competent, but careful enough not to reveal the true depth of his abilities. Overseer Thal watched closely, her expression unreadable. After a long, tense silence, she finally spoke. "Adequate. Nothing unusual." Mark felt a wave of relief wash over him, but he kept his expression calm. The inspection continued for hours, but in the end, the Council's team found nothing they considered alarming. They left as quickly as they had arrived, leaving Commander Ussa's secret intact, at least for now. That evening, Commander Ussa found Mark standing alone, staring out at the stars through a large viewing window. "You handled that well," she said quietly. Mark turned to her. "For how long can we keep hiding this?" Commander Ussa sighed. "As long as we must. Change does not happen quickly. But every human we train, every quiet act of protection we provide, brings your species one step closer to standing on equal ground with the rest of the galaxy." Mark looked out at the endless stars, thinking about Earth, small and unaware, spinning quietly somewhere far away. He thought about all the other humans out there, unaware of the hidden strength buried inside them, unaware of the secret unit working quietly to protect their future. "I'm glad I walked into that building that day," Mark said finally. Commander Ussa smiled softly. "So am I." For the first time since his journey began, Mark felt a sense of peace. He was no longer just an ordinary man searching for a job. He was part of something far greater, something hidden from the rest of the galaxy, but real, powerful, and quietly changing the future of humanity, one recruit at a time. But here is the twist nobody saw coming. Mark later learned that Commander Ussa herself was once human. Centuries ago, according to old unit records, she had been recruited the same way he was, through a simple mistake, a hidden scan, and a choice to stay. Over generations of careful genetic study, her body had changed, adapting so completely to alien life that almost nothing human remained on the surface. She had built this unit not out of curiosity, but out of memory, quiet promise to protect the species she once belonged to. This changes everything. The HFY Sci was never just an alien unit recruiting humans. It was humanity's own hidden legacy, disguised and protected across the stars. Mark's story does not end here. Somewhere out there, more humans are being quietly found, tested, and prepared. And one day, the whole galaxy may finally learn what humanity is truly capable of. If this opened your eyes, let's recap what we uncovered today. A hidden alien unit secretly recruits human men because of a rare trait called the ember trait, buried deep inside human DNA. This unit exists in secret because the wider galaxy fears human potential once fully awakened. And the person leading this secret mission may have once been human herself, quietly protecting humanity's future from the shadows. Stories like this remind us that ordinary moments can hide extraordinary truths. If this story pulled you in, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because more hidden HFY Sci stories like this one are coming very soon. Give this video a like if you want to see more Humans Are Space Orc stories, and drop a comment below telling me what you think Mark's next mission should be. If you enjoyed this journey, check out our next video, where another ordinary human uncovers a secret that could change the fate of an entire galaxy. Don't miss it. On-screen cues, B-roll ideas, space station exteriors, glowing recruitment scanners, alien combat training holograms, DNA strand animations, tense council inspection scenes, star map visuals, dramatic slow-motion training sequences.